Greetings, Cleveland, and welcome to Creative Focus, the show that illuminates some of Cleveland's most talented and creative artists across the genres of dance, film, music, theater, and visual arts. I'm your host, Cornell Calhoun III, and I am thrilled to have as my guest today on Creative Focus, writer, producer, Miss Tracie Potts. Tracie, welcome to Creative Focus, girl. Let's chop it up.
Hey, let's do it. Hey, I'm excited and honored to be here.
Hey, the pleasure's all mine. We rocking with that blue twins.
Oh yeah, we're twins today, Cornell. I'm loving it. We're twins.
So you are a Cleveland native.
Yes.
Lincoln West High School.
Yep.
You know what's fascinating is you went to Central State University.
I did.
And the mascot, the Marauders. I looked that up, man. That is so cool. They were pirates that used to rescue slaves off of slave ships. Because, you know, on the surface, if, you know, a pirate, you think a pirate is negative.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was positive, you know? That's great.
Yeah.
Hey, dear soul, tell me, what inspired you to go into TV? I'm so proud of you. You just doing your thing, you know?
Thank you, Cornell. Well, really, what inspired me is growing up, I always would look at TV and films differently than everyone else. Like when I would go to the movie theater, instead of really enjoying the movie, which I did, but I was like, how did they get that design? What made them choose that area? I just like the production elements were intriguing to me. What made them choose this? What made them choose that? And I just remember one day I was talking to somebody, I was like, I don't know what I want to do. And they were like, what would you do if you didn't get paid? What would you do? Because you just love to do it. And I was like, I love everything about TV. And initially I wanted to be an actress, but once I went off to Central State University and I started learning things behind the camera, then I was like, this is more my niche. I like being behind the camera, being on the creative end of everything. So that's kind of transpired.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, had you ever performed before? But then when I read your bio and stuff, I realized that you really like behind the scenes stuff.
I love behind the scenes.
So tell me, also, I was impressed with your speech about internships. Elaborate on that some.
So I would encourage everyone, do internships, because although you don't get paid monetarily, you get paid with knowledge and wealth. Like I personally think the information and things that you get from internships, whether they're paid or unpaid, are just priceless. And I think a lot of companies, they get to see how you work, what your work ethic is like. And it's been my experience that companies tend to hire their interns as opposed to going out because they've already groomed you for the culture of that company.
So what was your first professional paid TV job?
My first professional paid TV job was at NBC Studios. NBC has a program called the Page Program. And it's kind of like when you're first out of college or you're just trying to get your whistle wet in the industry. So the Page Program is grueling to get in. So you go to New York and your main job in the Page Program is to do NBC studio tours. So you have to know the history of NBC inside and out, every facet of NBC. So I went there, it was like 3 interviews, a test, and I think, me, myself, and my 2 other friends who went to Central State with me, actually my sorority sisters, we beat out 5,000 applicants.
Delta Sigma Theta.
Yep, my line sister and my prophyte, yep. All 3 of us got hired there.
So talk about some of the TV shows you worked on, like, you know, mine is The Real. Talk about The Real for a minute.
Working on The Real, so I got the job at The Real. Thank you, Tania and Corey. Got the job at The Real, had to move over to California. Never been to the West Coast, ever. So it was a little nervous. I was a little nervous, but I was like, oh, I got this job. I'm going. There's no question about it. So packed up, went. It was absolutely wonderful. The cast was wonderful, the staff. Just learning a lot. That's when, for me, it took things to another level because it's live TV and it's ready to go. It's now. There's no room for mistakes. You have to be game, ready to go. And just being around such successful women, working around all millionaires, you know, you can't help but to step your game up. And they were so humble and nice. And as your producer, a lot of people don't know how important the role of a producer is, right, especially in the TV industry, because you have to have a strong producer that you can trust, because what the producer is writing is what you're saying on TV. So the fact checking has to be on point, because the celebrity takes the hit, not us, because we're behind the scenes. Right. So just in a lot of ways, their career to a degree is in your hands because you're giving them the material that they have to get on live TV and talk about. And so you want to make sure you're taking precious care of that. You're doing your homework, you're doing your research, and you're just making sure you're doing the best job that you can possibly do. And you want to make sure your show rates.
What was the premise of the reel?
So the reel was, pretty much women talking about real world issues from a multicultural position. So you had Jeannie Mai, you had Adrian, Garcelle, Lonnie. All these women are from different ethnicities, and so they could talk about things from their perspective as well as hearing feedback from other women. So it was just great. The camaraderie was wonderful, and I believe the show really made a difference. We really had a voice. And I enjoyed also giving people opportunity who never had a chance to be on TV. Any chance I got, I was calling people like, hey, got an opportunity for you. So I love to give people opportunity to shine.
And what about divorce court?
What about divorce court?
Now, in divorce court, are those real people, or the actors, scripted actors?
Okay, divorce court are real people. Now, I don't know what's going on now, but when I was there, they're real people because we have to research their relationship. We have to know that your relationship is real. Now, is there times when people are just that good and they're like convincing? Yeah, but far as the research that we do, they're real because we make them send us their marriage certificate. So you're legitimately married, and then you have some couples that were looking to get married, but some infidelity or something may occur. So it's like, I want out of this. But because they live together, in some states, it was considered common law marriage.
I know everybody wants to know, because I want to know. Talk about working at Tyler Perry Studios.
Woo. Working at Tyler Perry Studios is like Black Disney World to me. It is absolutely beautiful. Like what he's done with the place is amazing. I like how every studio is named after a prominent African American in the industry. Just when you first pull on the campus, it's just, you see Black gardeners. I don't think I've ever seen Black gardeners except for in the movies. Like we own the property, it's a jumbotron of all his different shows when you first pull up. It's just, you feel that energy. And he has a water fountain in front that changes colors at night. And every night when I left the studio, I would always just get on my knees and pray in front of that water fountain, like, Lord, thank you for this opportunity. Like just praying gratitude and thanks. If you've never been to Tyler Perry Studios, and I hope he does studio tours there one day, it is maybe the size of 3 cities. It is huge. He has a cul-de-sac, I think is where he did, what's the one show, I can't think off the top of my head, a real popular show. It's nothing but a row of mansions built from the ground up with swimming pools in the back. He has a replica of the White House built from the ground up, looks just like the White House, on the campus. A lot of his movies, now that because I've been on the premises, I see, like he has a whole street of buildings built from the ground up where he did Boo. It was a half of a boat where he did the one movie with Tracie P. Henson. I mean, it's words. He has a bank. He has a restaurant on the premises. Words can do it no justice. You just have to be there to see it. It's incredible.
So is he accessible to producers, directors?
So I never actually worked for Tyler Perry. I worked on the lot.
Right.
So you would see him riding around on his bike.
Okay.
Friendly, speak to everybody, and there's always films. Like when I was there, that campus, I just called it the campus, but it was rocking and rolling. They were filming Bad Boys 3, Bad Boys 2. They're doing Bad Boys 2. They was doing Coming to America 2. So everybody was on that campus. And then he was filming his own shows. So you come outside, I see Martin Lawrence, Will Smith, everybody was there. Like, because, the premise is so big, so during my lunch break, I would walk around, and it was just, you see everybody. Everybody was there.
Wow.
Yeah.
What would you say is the most challenging job in being a producer? What's the most challenging aspect of being a producer?
That's a great question, Cornell. It's several parts that are challenging in my personal opinion. Number one, you're dealing with a lot of people, so you just have to be on at all times. You're dealing with a lot of people, you're consuming a lot of information, you have to do a tremendous amount of fact checking. Another thing is you sometimes meet people on camera that when you meet in real life, it's like, you're nothing like, well, no, you know what? I'll rewind that. Because most of the people that I met are really nice and genuine. But there are some I've met and I'm just like, you a jerk. You know what I'm saying? And the hits that you're getting, you well deserve them because you're not kind for real. In real life, you're not kind. So when I see them in social media, in certain situations, I'm like, not surprised. But other than that, I enjoy it, but I would say just constantly being on. Because when you work in the TV industry, you're working off both coasts. So you have to always be on. Somebody may call you at 9 o'clock at night on the West Coast, but it's 12 o'clock in the morning here for us, but you still have to be up. Nobody wants to hear, I'm tired, I didn't get a chance, not in the TV industry. You have to figure out a way to make it happen no matter what, as you know.
And how did you get that position at Tyler Perry Studio? Did you audition? Did somebody tell you? I mean, how did you get that position?
Okay, interesting story. So, and this is a life lesson that I'll share with people. It's all about looking out for people. So I got the job at Tyler Perry Studio. Actually, in the industry, people tend to like to work with people they know can deliver. So I got the job from my good friend, Deandra. I met her going back to the NBC Page program. Deandra and I met back in New York when I was in the NBC Page program and she was trying to get in. I just saw this young lady looking like, didn't know where she was going and what she was doing. So, I walked up to her, I was like, are you okay, sis? And she was like, I'm trying to get information about the NBC Page program. She had flew there from Baltimore. And I could feel her 100% because I came there from Cleveland. And so NBC is Fort Knox. You got to know somebody before you get up those stairs. So I was like, come on, I'm going to take you upstairs to the office and I'm going to help you do the application and all that. So I took her upstairs to the office, introduced her to everybody, helped her with the application. And she was like, you know what? I'm never going to forget that you helped me. And I was like, okay. We parted ways. We exchanged numbers. Never seen her, never spoke to her again. So the NBC Page program is a year long, but they tend to hire you out of the Page program to different shows on NBC, different departments in NBC. So right when the Page program, and this is all glory to God, right when the Page program was ending, it was my last week, I'm like, okay, what am I gonna do next? Let's see. I get a call from Deandra out of the blue. She's like, hey, I don't know if you remember me. I'm the girl, Deandra. You met me last year at the NBC Page program. You tried to help me. She was like, I'm back in New York and I work for Queen Latifah. I told them all about you and they want you to start tomorrow. It went just like that. And so I went to Queen Latifah. We worked there together. We built a rapport. We both started out as production assistants. We both got promoted as associate producers together. And then Queen Latifah promoted us both as producers. So at the Queen Latifah show, I went on to work on other shows. And then I went to BET, worked at BET. Then I got pregnant with my son and moved back to Cleveland. And this is gonna trip you out, Cornell. Had my son, started working back at Cleveland, but I was like, Lord, this is not my purpose, but I said, my goal, I'm gonna let my son get a little older and then I'm getting back in the industry. And I said, I had a date. This is so crazy, this is manifestation. I said, when my son turns 16, I'm going back into the industry. I didn't know how, I didn't know where. My son turned 16, a week later, Deandra called me. Hey, Trey, I'm the new executive over at Divorce Court. You ready to come to Atlanta? I'm like, she's like, I'm at Tyler Perry Studios. I was like, what? Come on, God. And so I go there. Now, Cornell, here's an important thing to know. You can have as many connections as you want, but on game day, you better be ready to play ball. So mind you, I get to Tyler Perry Studios. I'm with all these producers. I've been out the industry for a while. I'm with all these producers from Oprah, Dr. Phil, Cher, you name it, they're there. And they're all looking at Deandra like, why would you bring this girl from Cleveland? You know what I'm saying? Everybody else is from New York, Atlanta, California. Right. I'm the only one from Cleveland. And I've been out the game for a while. But Deandra had so much faith in me, she like, oh, Tracie ready. And while everybody was at home sleep, I would be at the studio. 5 o'clock in the morning, I'm there. 3 o'clock in the morning, I'm there. Because I had to brush up my skills, you know? I said, I came to win, and that's what I'm gonna do. So when we did the first show, it did really good. Actually, when I got to Divorce Club, when we wrapped, my show was the opening show, and my show was the closing show, the season finale. And so to the point, Judge Toller came off set one time after she filmed, and this is a true story. She walked up to me, I was standing next to Deandra, because you stand next to the executive while the show was filming, and she's like, you are giving me every fucking thing I need, excuse my French. And I was like, Judge, she was like, ooh, was I too ghetto? I said, no, I love it. So it was just then it was just like, oh, Tracie can produce, like she really is good. And so it just showed my skills, but again, I had that passion. I did my homework. Like I said, when everybody was out or just doing their thing, I was in the studio researching stories. I wanted the best stories. And so that helped catapult me. So when it was time for the reel, my good friend Corey had went to the reel. And so they needed another producer. And he was like, oh, I know the perfect person who would be great. And it went like that. Of course, you got to interview. But it went like that.
That's incredible. So Tracie, tell me, where do you see the future of TV now, in your estimation, with all your experience?
You know, Cornell, that's a great question, because TV is ever evolving and it's changing. I'm more so trying to get into the creative end in terms of trying to create my own platform. It's changing. Talk has changed. So much has changed. And then you have so many people that are gaining success and notoriety online. Podcasts are becoming a really big thing, and just people just creating their own platforms on social media. But one thing I've learned, to me, everybody's different, you still have to go and do the homework. Like I could watch a show or I could see somebody that's social media popular and I already know this not gonna be long term, because I can see like they get on social media and sometimes it's just pure buffoonery and people just buy into it and just like, and I'm like, or you gotta know the difference between a real journalist and a blogger. That's why you have a lot of bloggers who get sued because they haven't really did the homework. Because you can go read something and write something, but when you're a journalist, like I have a degree in journalism, so when you're a journalist, you really take the time, and no disrespect, because you got some great bloggers out there, don't get me wrong, but when you're a journalist, you really take the time to fact check, to make those calls, to make sure, to really roll up your sleeves, get in the mud, and really find out if that's a true or fictional story, and not just be so quick to, I heard it first, let me get it out there.
So quickly, what is the difference between a journalist and a blogger?
My personal opinion is a blogger hears about a story and they just do a snippet on it.
Gotcha.
A journalist, you really go and do the homework. You go back and you do the undergird. You get all the interviews. You don't just take this one hot interview. You get information from all the players in the game, because you have to make sure you're providing credible information. You're writing an AP format. You're doing the style. You're fact checking, and you're double checking what you write. Like if you read a lot of blogs, there's so many misspelled words and run-on sentences, and even things of those details are important when you're a real journalist.
So what would be your dream position if you could have any position you want? If you could do any story or show that you want, what would be your dream position?
I would love to highlight Cleveland. I would love to have a position where we really put some shine on Cleveland in a positive way, because there is so much talent in Cleveland. The problem is people leave and go find, success elsewhere. But the crazy part about it is people come to Cleveland and they're always shocked a lot of times. They're like, whoa, Cleveland is really happening. And we're like, yeah, just as you know, prime example, the NABJ conference is gonna be here in August of 2025. And everybody's excited. And we were down in Chicago and they're like, so it's in Cleveland, huh? And so the funny thing is, Cornell, when you at the NABJ convention, whatever city hosts it next does the turnover party. It's like a whistle wetter to welcome you to Cleveland. So this year we did the turnover party in Chicago. And we brought DJ Ellery, we had Destination Cleveland who really turned it out. I mean, Cleveland partied so hard, they was like, Cleveland? We was like, yeah, it was beautiful. We had the room all set up nice with the glow tape. I mean, Cleveland drinks glue. It was just, Cleveland set it out. They was like, we can't wait to see what Cleveland is all about. We like, yeah, we're not the country, but y'all keep thinking that. So yeah, it's gonna be a good time. Everybody's excited to see the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
So that's the National Association of Black Journalists,
the National
right? Association
of Black Journalists.
And what is your position? Aren't you chair of something there?
I'm the PR chair for the Cleveland chapter. Okay. Yep.
And how long have you been affiliated with them? Roughly?
About 5 years.
And why is an organization like that important in terms of media, Tracie?
The National Association of Black Journalists is very important in terms of media because we get the Black stories out the way they need to be told correctly. We are the voice for Black media, for Black community, because no one's going to, you hear this all the time, Cornell, but it's true. No one's going to tell our stories like us because they can't, even if they wanted to. You don't know what it's like to walk in a Black person's shoes, so there's no way you could ever tell a Black story the way we can. Even today, as successful and talented as you are, there are times when I'm sure you walk in the store and you're still looked at as less than this time. You may still be followed. That happens to me. I was in the store and I just had on a jogging suit, went to a store, and the workers followed me around. And to the point where security was called because she's like, are you still there? I said, girl, listen, honey. and I'll tell you the embarrassing part. She was so busy following me around. When security came and I was standing outside talking to security, there were 2 white girls in the front of the store just stealing. And we looking through the window, watching them load their bags with stuff. And security, we're all just looking at this. Security went and arrested them, but I'm like, but you're busy following the Black girl that could buy whatever she wants in this store while you getting robbed blind. Like, it was the weirdest thing, but I digress. But getting back to the point, it's just, our stories wouldn't be told correctly if it's not for Black media. And that goes for some of the great bloggers who do a great job. Black media, we have to have it.
About how many members does the organization have, roughly around? Do you know it all?
Our numbers are constantly growing.
Okay, good.
Well over 50,000 because we're national.
National. Mm-hmm. It's a national organization.
Yes.
And this is just the Cleveland chapter, right?
Every city has a chapter. And so that's what makes it so beautiful. So when you bring us all together, baby, it's a good time.
And somebody told me it's not just journalists in terms of writing, but, filmmakers, authors. It doesn't matter, right?
Any form. The core is journalism, but any form of Black entertainment, because even at the when they have the conventions, you like the CEO from OWN, Essence, like it's all the heavyweights are here. It's wonderful. People bring their cast. Tyler Perry was here one year. Like if someone has a film, a Black film, they're usually there because of course you can't pay for that kind of media, and you're getting it for free. You're just there. You're showing up, talking about your whatever you have going on. So it's wonderful, and we want to see us win.
And so it's in Cleveland in 2025. Huh?
It's going to be in Cleveland 2025. It's the first week of August. So we shutting Cleveland down the first week of August, baby. Yes, yes.
You gonna get your outfit together, Trace?
Listen, Cornell. Outfit, networking. I mean, if you're in Cleveland and you have anything to do with entertainment, even if it's just a dream for yours that has not yet come to fruition, you need to be there. You need to be there, for sure.
What would you tell an aspiring young Black woman who wanted to get into the industry?
Great question, great question. I would say go, if you want to get into the industry, because it's so competitive, I would say go to networking events, industry-related networking events. I would say make sure you take some media classes, because if you want to be in this industry, take some classes so you're educated on the fundamentals. Intern at places you see yourself wanting to be at. definitely intern, because again, that's going to open up a lot of doors for you. Some internships are paid, some are not. I did both. I did a lot of, when I was in college, I interned at a radio station in Akron, and the lady, it was the director. She was behind on writing commercial ads. So she was like, Tracie, can you write? I was like, yeah, I can write. And so she was like, I'm gonna give you one commercial to write. And so I wrote it. And after that, she was like, you write the commercials. And I was like, okay. And I wasn't getting paid, but it was just making my writing stronger. And she would critique in the areas that it need to be critiqued. So it helped me just get stronger in writing.
So what do you like to do when you're not dealing with TV and media? What are some of your hobbies besides dress?
Oh my goodness, Cornell. I love social action. I love community service. I love doing community service that's impactful. Because you can do community service, but I like impactful community service in terms of going out, helping those who really need. So that's important to me. During this election, we were boots on the ground, making sure people got out and voted. And it really was interesting to see how many of us were really uneducated about the importance of the vote, why we vote the way we do. So it was interesting. So I like that, educating and inspiring. Yeah, the boots on the ground. Yeah, honey, we practically lived at the Board of Elections, but we did our part, and it is what it is. But you can always, my personal opinion, if you did the best you could do, then you can sleep good at night. And always, here's another note, learned this from Oprah years ago. Every day, and I've been doing this maybe 20 years, always write a list of things I need to accomplish every day, and I mark them off. And if I didn't accomplish those things today, at least I know what I accomplished and what I still need to get done. So every day, it's a new goal, it's a new journey. And treating people good. I heard something one time, and it just stayed with me, Cornell. If you want to know the true character of yourself and the type of person that you are, when people interact with you, did they leave better after knowing you? Were they the same or were they worse off? How did you leave people who interact with you?
Yeah, that's crazy, man. It's been a blast. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Cornell, my pleasure, my pleasure, yes.
We have to do it again.
We got to do it again. And congratulations on you and all your success and all your endeavors. You're elevating. Cornell, you're going to be here. I'm being like, Cornell, can I get your autograph?
I'm going to call you, no doubt. I'm going to
call me, because I do PR too, so call me.
Okay, dear. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you, it's a pleasure.
I'd like to thank my special guest, Tracie Potts, for hanging out with us today on Creative Focus. So that's it, Cleveland, we're out. But remember, a true artist is not only inspired, but inspires others. I'm Cornell Calhoun III for TV 20 and Creative Focus. Until the next time becomes our time. Be well, be safe.